Even though when I moved to Portugal, I had this intention of having a slower pace of life, a softer way of living, it's still so nice just to get away for a while and focus on connection to my body, to myself, connection with other people, to nature. So I headed to the middle of nowhere in Portugal in Alentejo with a few friends to do exactly that. Come with me to see how I do a gentle retreat reset in just 48 hours. Hi everyone, I'm Jessica and a big welcome back to this little space I'm creating to share bits of my life. A friend reached out to me recently and mentioned she was spending a short weekend, just 2 days, at this lovely retreat centre for trees in a little rural place in Alentejo. And this felt like the perfect opportunity at the end of January, deep in the winter, to reset and surround myself just with like-minded people in a cozy environment. So I said I was in. And for this, basically, it's a friend I've known for a very long time. She invited me and she also invited other friends that she knew and felt like I would get on with. And so it was a really interesting combination of being around somebody that I already know and then a few new people. And for all of us, this weekend wasn't just a holiday. It was an intentional reset. And the best way for me to reset is to concentrate on the kind of key pillars of life that I know really support me already. They help me feel rested, they help me feel alive, they help me feel relaxed. So these are the ones that matter most to me. They are stillness, nature, movement, nourishment, and connection. And these 5 things, it's always important for me if I'm going away to a retreat space or even if I'm just doing a reset at home, it's so important for me that these 5 things are included. So the goal for this video isn't just to show you a beautiful or luxury retreat, although these are also really great. This is more for me to show you a real insight into what it looks like for me to just really reset with myself, to have just 48 hours to kind of lock down, reset, and I'm gonna break down the 5 pillars that I use to do that. And in that way, I can share why they work for me, why I use them, and maybe just to kind of highlight the things that I do for myself at home as well, because let's be real, I can't always escape to the Portuguese countryside every time I feel like I need to have a rest, although that would be really nice. So let's talk about the first pillar of a little reset for myself. And stillness is the one that comes to my mind first. The modern world that we live in, it's just so hectic sometimes. And sometimes when I feel myself needing stillness or being still, I can feel like I'm just wasting time. It's taken me a really long time to be able to settle into stillness and not get frustrated or feel like I need to be productive or doing something or creating something. And so stillness is always the first thing that I make sure I'm kind of reaching towards or bringing into my life when I'm doing a reset. One of the ways that I did that to begin with was to kind of give myself every single day at least a few minutes of nothing to do. But here on retreat, stillness can be kind of defined differently and brought in differently. It can be the whole experience. It gives you the space to rest. It allows you to kind of listen to things. It allows you to be still in your body and to notice how that feels as well. And sure, I definitely have to fight the urge to reach for my phone or to do something that will kind of distract me or be productive. Maybe it's like thinking of a new business idea or just having a new idea that I get caught up in. But I've really thought about this aspect of having a reset or having like this retreat experience. And really the best way for me is to put away my phone, to not engage, to be present, just to be present actually with what is actually there rather than kind of imagining something or reaching for something that's digital. So exactly how do I bring in this stillness on a little retreat? I love to start the day with a morning meditation, whether that's in the bed, sitting on the floor, sitting outside. Sometimes I do a full meditation where I'm sitting in meditative position. Sometimes it's a walk. Sometimes it's playing a musical instrument. It's a really important part for me to bring present awareness to what's happening right now, something that really helps me to like ground in the present moment. And meditation is one of those things I think that I've been on my own journey with, and maybe you have too, but it can feel kind of difficult at the beginning, especially if you don't practice it frequently or if it's something that you find hard to sit in stillness. If you trust yourself just to keep going for 10 minutes, you will definitely notice, even if your mind is really busy like mine is, that some stillness comes in, or at least you're just more aware of the thoughts that you're having. If you've got a really busy mind like I do, sometimes there's 1,000 different narratives happening, and it just brings my awareness to the fact that that is happening. Of course, meditation in that specific way is not for everybody, but there will be something that you know already that gets you into that meditative flow state. And in my experience, you can find presence, awareness in so many different ways. Usually it's just when you remove distraction, when you just stay with yourself in whatever you're doing. That might be, for example, like I said, a walk, it might be just sitting still, and it might just be literally observing what you can see outside. Another part of this pillar for me is reading something I completely love in silence. Not something non-fiction like a business book or something that I'm trying to like learn a new skill or learn something new, but reading to engage my imagination. When was the last time you just sat for like an hour without your phone, just allowing yourself to get lost in a book, if that's something that you like doing? Right now, I'm obsessed with a particular smutty fantasy romance series, Akatar. If you know, you know. And maybe I will share my favorite reads with you at some point in the future. But I think it's really important to bring in so many different parts of things that you really enjoy, like reading, if that's something that really lights you up. When you're thinking about a reset, something to kind of bring you back to yourself. I think that we can get really caught up, or at least I can, in this kind of perfect idea of what a wellness retreat looks like, or what meditation should be, what yoga should be, what movement should be. You know, there's so many opinions and ideas and sort of strict views on what these things should be, but really, if something brings you back to yourself, it allows you to have some experience that's not distracted by other things. You can focus your attention on something. I really feel like that helps to be a reset. Something that's separate from what you would usually do in daily life, away from maybe work or striving in any way, and just allowing yourself to be, to enjoy the space, to enjoy the moment. And so for me, that's why reading is one of those things on my list. Allowing myself to get lost in a book just makes me feel so calm. It makes me feel spacious. It makes me feel like I have time. And also it allows my imagination to just go wild a little. And I think that's so good for our brains. I know there's a lot of opinions on using real books versus a Kindle, but it just works better for me. I know it's technology, and technically I feel like it's better to do a reset without any technology, but my Kindle is a little exception for me, okay? I love to read on my Kindle because it means that I can carry loads of books in one small thing. And that's the main reason for me that it works, because for someone who gets very bored, for someone who likes to read lots of books all at the same time, and for someone who kind of needs a book for whatever they're feeling like in the moment rather than just fixating on one book at a time, and for someone who travels a lot, the Kindle just works for me, okay? One thing that was a really happy accident during this little 48 hours in rural Portugal was that the whole first day we had no power. We had no electricity, no internet, and it really made me realize, number one, how quiet it is. And I mean that literally, when there is no power. I can't remember a time, maybe camping, but I can't remember a time where I've been somewhere without any power, without any internet, and you realize how quiet it is. I don't know, maybe this is just me, maybe I'm a freak, but I can sometimes hear the electricity and it is annoying. And I think that I forget that I can hear those things, or maybe even the small sounds of things that are plugged in, you know, like if you've got something that's consistently on, it like emits like a very low level sound. I don't think we realize the impact that has on our awareness. So it was really interesting for me to be in this environment and have literally nothing for miles apart from like nature. and no power. I think in this situation too that it also really draws your attention to the sounds of nature, because every time you hear something, it's coming from nature. And that's just really amazing because your ears start to tune into the finer sounds that you can hear that maybe are drowned out sometimes. And for me, I've never actually felt more still in environments where there's limited power or electricity or Wi-Fi. If the Wi-Fi is switched off, I also feel different. And I don't know how else to explain it other than just I feel different. So I really recommend just trying this at least once just to see if you feel the difference. Even though this is how I like to practice stillness on retreat, there's also things that I love to do at home to kind of bring this stillness into my daily life. And the first thing that I try to do every day, don't always manage it, but I really try, is the first 30 rule. So for the first 30 minutes of the day, I try not to touch my phone. I don't kind of let the world in before I've checked in with myself. I've thought, am I thirsty? Do I need to tie up my hair? Sometimes my hair's really annoying because it's really long and I'm just like frustrated and I need to put it up. Do I need to get changed, or do I feel better to stay in my pajamas today? Do I need to stretch? Do I need to dance? Do I need to sit down? Do I need to rest more? It's a really good opportunity for me, those first 30 minutes, just to check in with how I'm feeling. And maybe you don't have 30 minutes to do that. Maybe you have to get up and you have to go to work. I think even 5 or 10 minutes as you wake up is a really good time just to check in with yourself. So in the mornings, instead of that, I will intentionally always make myself a hot drink, either a cup of warm water or water with lemon in, and usually I just stare out the window, and I really enjoy doing that. The second pillar of my little life reset is just to get into nature. Honestly, for me, there is nothing better in the entire world to just reset myself mentally, physically, emotionally, spiritually than just being surrounded by nature. I think it really invites you to step away from distractions and just really be present with whatever is. The sounds, the smells, the sights, the sun or the rain, the animals. There was something about the horizon line at the retreat center that literally just made any worries or thoughts or problems melt away. Like it gave me perspective somehow. It's so vast and expanding that it kind of just makes you pause, it makes you reflect, it just makes you remember that you're a tiny little human speck in a long, long, long timeline of other things. And even though where I'm living in Setúbal in Portugal is so close to nature, mainly the river and the beaches nearby, and it also has the mountains, which is amazing, it still has that hustle and bustle of the city, which I love, 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 love. And I wouldn't want to live anywhere without this. But there is still a lot happening, a lot of activity most of the time. So coming out of that environment into somewhere like we did for the retreat center in Alentejo, it really makes time just feel totally different. In fact, time feels sort of like it stops, like it stands still. And when it's like this, one of the things I love to do is just find a space to sit outside, alone preferably, and just really notice everything around me, like connecting to the landscape somehow. We also had the most beautiful walks together as a group in nature, and this was really special too, to kind of hear the laughs of everybody, like old and new friends, and they echoed through the trees. And in the summer, I love to have my feet in the ground, like bare feet in the ground. Right now, it's been so cold and so wet, we definitely did not do that. But even just being outside, watching the drops of rain fall on the still water of the swimming pool, feeling the wind on our skin and smells of nature, the wet scent of the trees and bushes, all of these things just really bring a presence and a sense of calm to me. And every time I focus on building my life here in Portugal, setting up this kind of whole new existence for myself, I tend to live mostly in my head. I'm kind of obsessing over what's happened in the past or thinking about the future, but being in nature really pulls me back into the physical reality of the present moment. So it's really important for me when I'm thinking about doing a reset, especially going to a retreat center to do this, that there's a lot of nature involved in that. So to apply this at home, I have to be a bit more intentional. I always go for a walk every single day. Without fail, this is one of the things, unless I'm sick or injured, then I will go for a walk every single day down to the water. But often I will be kind of listening to an audiobook, listening to music, calling a friend. But to do this and really connect with nature, it does require me to be more intentional. It's not just kind of going outside, it's leaving behind my headphones, leaving behind my phone if I feel like that's something that is going to grab my attention. And it's shifting my focus from those things onto the textures that I can see, the sounds, also the people, the birds, like what's happening. And often when you do that, you really notice things that are different, things that have changed, things that you never would usually pay attention to. And it makes you feel more like you're part of what's happening rather than sleepwalking through it. So I love to sit on a bench near the ocean and watch and listen to the waves. They're so mesmerizing and calming here. It's one of my favorite things to do. Pillar number 3 for me is movement. And I am not talking about working out, burning calories, wanting to look good. I mean, if this feels good, go ahead and do that. If that feels good on a retreat for you and a reset, do it. And actually this retreat center here in Four Trees does even have a gym. But for me, I'm talking about using movement as a way to release tension, to release anything stuck in the body, to bring myself back into my body and think about how I'm feeling, and really just an opportunity to connect with myself. So our bodies are constantly adapting, holding in response to stress and trauma. Maybe you clench your teeth and your jaw's tight, which is connected to your pelvis, and maybe you've got hip pain, and this goes on and on and on. And yeah, we feel it in our hips, we feel these things in our shoulders, our necks, our backs. So gentle and intentional movement to really get back into the body, to notice, okay, what's going on for me today with it? Where is it tight? Which parts of me are tensing? Where am I holding stress? Where could you let go a little? I love to use like more conscious movement for this, things like stretching in a way that my body feels good in that moment, a yoga flow, TRE, which is something I've been practicing that uses the tremor mechanism in the body, maybe even a long walk. To do these things whilst noticing how my body feels, with my mind clearer because of the stillness and because of the nature, it's a really helpful way for me to just reset, reconnect with my body, even reconnect with myself, because when I'm in my body, it really allows me to be so present that my mind often stills too. And on retreat, it was so nice to be able to do these things, both on my own if I chose to, going for a walk, stretching in the morning before I went out of my bedroom to see everybody, but it was also so nice to be able to do these things in a group setting. And this reset, this retreat, it wasn't like a planned, scheduled thing. This was something that we were just co-creating as the time went on, which was amazing. So it just meant that in any given moment, we'd kind of be like, does anyone feel like doing some yoga? And then we would do some yoga. Does anyone feel like doing a workout? And then someone would do a workout. Does anyone want to go for a walk? Let's go for a walk. It was very responsive as a group. If someone didn't want to do something, they didn't do it. If someone did, we did it together. Like, there were lots and lots of ways that this retreat allowed for this kind of relationship between stillness, movement, and nature and each other. And I really, really appreciated that. So we did get the chance to do a little walk together. We did some yoga together. We did some gentle stretching. We played on the equipment in the gym. We basically just really got in touch with like that space inside that tells you what you want at any given moment, rather than kind of having this very strict schedule about what we needed to do to reconnect or to reset. We were just concentrating on whatever thoughts came up. Do we want to play on the rings in the gym? Yes, we do. Do we want to go for a run? Maybe we do. Do we want to go and pet the horses? Maybe we do. You know, there were lots of these moments that were just really responsive to the environment. And I think that's something that we really miss in daily life. When we are so focused on having a to-do list, like checking the things off, I know that I do this. Like, I have a list at the beginning of the day and I need to walk through it. And yes, I do have a break for a walk, but the walk is like a purposeful walk where I need to rest in the walk and I need to reset, and everything really has a purpose, and there is no space for spontaneity usually in my days. Although I try to make space for it, it's incredibly difficult, whereas it's so nice to go into a retreat setting, a reset like this, with that openness to just doing whatever we feel like. Pillar 4 is nourishment. And I do not just mean eating healthy. What I mean is being able to consume food prepared with care and with love, with ingredients that have been pulled from the land where we're spending time, to be able to consume a meal together in a community of really beautiful, intentional people, and to feel connected by food to each other. And for me, nourishment is always a ritual, but it's easy to forget this and appreciate it in this way, I think, when we just live kind of on the treadmill of life. Sometimes I'll come home from an evening of late training and I'll shove something in the air fryer. Yes, I'm an air fryer girly. And just eating it really quickly because it's 9 p.m. and I need to go to bed. But on retreat, you sort of feel like the time stretches out, and even just for the weekend, without distractions, the day kind of becomes about the meals. The day almost revolves around the food, being able to watch the chef prepare our food. She's making dough in the evening for a fresh loaf of bread in the morning. And to be able to just chat with her while she cooks and have this kind of familial mealtime environment, this was so beautiful to be part of. And it meant that enjoying the food after felt even more meaningful. And we ate with intention. We stopped to really appreciate and receive the food. When we truly nourish ourselves like this, I think we tell our bodies, we're safe. You're worthy of care. You're worthy of receiving goodness. And to be honest, just to enjoy this together in community with great conversation, lots of serious conversations and very fun conversations all mixed in, this is the icing on the cake. And finally, pillar 5, which I've already touched on, is this connection. When I'm overwhelmed, my instinct is to isolate. I definitely take myself away from others because I feel like it's too much of a burden to kind of put my feelings on other people. But this retreat really reminded me that healing and regulation does not happen in a vacuum. We do not just heal alone. We cannot survive alone. And connection to old friends, to new ones, and ultimately back to myself through other people really is the fastest way to regulate your nervous system and to be held, to be safe. As humans, we really need to be seen and witnessed by others. And I especially feel like this is true for women, to be witnessed by other women, held by other women. I feel like we need to remember we can laugh. We need to remember we aren't doing this whole life building thing alone. And for me, this retreat, this reset was a really nice reminder of this. Even though I love spending a lot of my time alone, which I really appreciate for different reasons, it's so nice to be able to spend time just having fun with a great group of people. So I'm going to remind myself every single day that I need connection, whether it's a deep conversation with an old friend or just smiling at a stranger in a coffee shop. Connection really pulls me out of my head and back into the real world, just like all of the other pillars do. Another thing about meeting new friends on retreat that I'm forever surprised about is the depth of connection that you can experience in this sort of situation. For example, I really feel like you can meet someone who you click with on a level that you might not have ever clicked with anyone before. And I think it was amazing that all of this could happen just in a short 2 days, 1 night stay somewhere, getting the train down in the morning, coming back on the train the next day, and just being able to experience such a rich, deep reset, such connection with myself, connection to nature, connection to other people, this nourishing food, coming back feeling really full and vibrant and energetic. Since I got back, I've been reflecting on how I've been feeling since returning, whether I feel like it made a difference to have that reset. Of course, in the moment, it made a huge difference. I felt really good, really grounded, really happy. I had just like a really nice, cozy weekend. But even now, reflecting on how I feel or how I felt over the last few weeks since I got back, I've noticed that my energy is definitely different, more grounded, more calm. When things go wrong, I just feel a lot less wobbled by them. When I've been late for meetings or things haven't gone as I planned, it's been really nice just to be able to feel pretty stable still. And I've also started working on something exciting with one of the women that I met, a cozy retreat in May, which I'm really looking forward to being part of. I'll be offering the sound healing for this, which I'm really excited about. I would love to know though, when you want to disappear for a while or need a reset, where do you go? What do you do? Please comment down below if you have any ideas or want to share how you reset. Thank you so much all for watching and sending you so much love.